And I think we're going to see that Acclamator go down fairly quickly. And you see the Acclamators trying to take shots at the torpedo ships. And there you go, more strikes. And there goes down the Acclamator. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So we're going to be covering another 3v3 sent to me by ZFK. If you guys are new to the game, this is Galactic Divide, Star Wars WARNO mod, created by the one and only biometric nuke. So before I get too far into the video, if you guys get anything out of this, subscribing, commenting, and liking helps our channel tremendously, and we do appreciate it. We also just want to thank you guys for coming out and spending your personal time watching the channel. It means the world to us. And if you guys want to support us, we work with a veteran clothing brand called Archangel, which will be in the link in the description below. If you want to check out some of their gear, you can do so there. Let's take a quick look at blufor. We have 501st Legion Phase 1, 21st Nova Legion, and you have the Separatists. On redfor, we have the Umbaran Defense Force, 501st Legendary Vanguard, and the Naval Expeditionary Division. If you guys have never played WARNO, I highly recommend you at least play some tutorials before you download this mod. Otherwise, you're going to be very confused. In this mod, as you can see, there are massive turbo laser towers. These are meant to help balance out the massive frigates and destroyers you're going to see today in this match. And the ion cannon specifically is very, very good for that, because what it essentially does is kind of like a EMP strike on the ship, and the ship becomes unresponsive. Now, caveat to that, there are some ships that have immunity to that, so you got to be careful with that. But you see both sides do have the ion cannons out here. Typically you only get one per player, so it's not too many. So I do want to cover the players on both sides, so don't get mad if I get your name wrong, but I'm going to do my best. So we have Jiven 007, Fenrir, Shawnee Cash on blufor, and on redfor we have Com3 and ZFK. We also have Highlander, Line Footman. So one thing that I recommend you do is always get out cheap fighters, because if a player gets aerial superiority, you're going to have a lot of problems. So right now we're seeing ZFK pop out 4 TIE interceptors, which do have torpedo launchers, and Com3 is also launching his Umbaran starfighters, who are very good, by the way. I personally love this faction, and this proton bomb is actually very useful. You can use it against tanks, a lot of armored vehicles, and these things are also great at taking out other fighters, as well as taking out hovering craft as well. So Jiven did also pop out 2 Z95's headhunters, but I would recommend to have more than that. Unfortunately, he's the only one who has fighters out right now, so not a great sign. But so we're seeing some J1 AA pushing up here. Also a lot of artillery coming from Fenrir. So this is the UTF-AT artillery. Not my favorite, but it'll get the job done. So we saw some early engagements here. Nice gun run from Com3 on the heavy stab. Umbaran snipers here under heavy fire after unloading, and doesn't look like they're gonna make it. So we saw a little bit of action here between Shawnee Cash and Com3. So he has some B1 battle droids here in the forest. So I'm not sure if that's because he's moving them around constantly. They're doing that. Sentinel landing class coming in here from Highlander. So you can kind of see that the what we have here is a very massive front line here in key positions. Obviously, the buildup here between ZFK and Shawnee Cash here in this middle zone on Dmitri is going to be very important. Whoever controls Fedor or Dmitri will probably come out on top, and already you guys see that Fenrir is coming out with the Acclamator very early. And actually, you guys did see that the ion cannon already shot the Acclamator, so it's going to be unresponsive. There you go. You're seeing some... So you see some proton torpedoes being fired by Com3 at the Acclamator there in the distance. These are the Hyena Torpedo Starship Hunters. You can see they have ×10 for proton torpedoes and 12k range. That's pretty good. And you guys can see that the Acclamator has already hit the dust. Unfortunately, this area here where he pushed it up was just not very smart. So you can see there's 2 enemy ion cannons right here. And he kind of pushed it up here. It was very vulnerable. Plus, with the Hyena Torpedo fighters, Com3 was able to do a lot of damage because the Acclamator is actually not super armored. So you got to be very careful because at best, it's a support ship. But in order to use it, you need to make sure you have the air and or take care of these ion cannons so they're not a threat to you. Here you go. Fenrir's pushing up with this artillery piece. You actually kind of see a whole convoy here, which would have been a very juicy target for, you know, anybody in the forest here. I would say this is probably not the smartest move, and you can kind of see that Highlander here has a bunch of infantry here in the woods. That's going to engage those artillery pieces, but the one caveat is that these artillery pieces can and do have the capability to shoot at units on the ground, which is unusual for an artillery piece. But there you go. You already see some getting lost here. You have the ATTFA anti-air also getting slammed right now by the infantry in the forest here from Highlander. Com3 coming in with the droid gunship, which has anti-tank capabilities. Pretty cool. It's awesome seeing the crashed Acclamator here, but this is all coming from one player actually. See the Acclamator, a bunch of destroyed artillery. Like I was saying, it wasn't a very good move just because, you know, you're going through a forested area. You know, he could have held his artillery here in the rear, push up with the infantry, but you guys can kind of see, you know, Com3 has infantry in very strategic locations, you know, all along this forest, and even some up here on the cliff. Would have been probably advantageous if he had put some infantry that has more longer range anti-tank capabilities, because I mean, this is just a great spot to be launching, you know, anti-tank missiles or AA at the enemy. A lot of action going on here in the middle as troops are being unloaded. It looks like we're seeing a bit of an infantry push here to unload and to support and reinforce the middle area here. But a lot of things are going on. A lot of action. So this is coming from Shawnee Cash here. And you guys can kind of see they're building up a bunch of infantry here. And you're seeing artillery fall down for the first time, coming from ZFK here with a mortar team in the back. It's cool seeing the AT-AT there in the background. So this AT-AT is coming in from ZFK as well. Pretty iconic unit, which you guys all know. So if any of you guys are confused as to why you're seeing kind of a mixture of good guys and bad guys playing in the same team, this mod doesn't really have a time era. You're going to see pretty much Star Wars from many different eras, from, you know, the Old Republic to the First Order and everything in between. So a lot of people complain about that, but that's how we like it. I think it just makes it more fun. You get to see scenarios that you would never see. Obviously, you have people who nerd out about the stats, and they're always telling me that, oh, their ship would never even scratch this ship, and it's probably accurate, but we're all here just to have fun and see the world of Star Wars just come to life. And here's this iconic clone tank everybody knows, which just got destroyed immediately. It was actually the TIE Phantom that came in and took it out. It's pretty awesome. See the LAAT AA there. We see the Gozanti, a bunch of droid gunships. So a lot of different mix of things, and I can imagine why it's confusing. ZFK coming in here with the TIE bomber. Here you go, droid gunships engaging some infantry there in the woods. One goes down. Jiven pushing up LAAT. That got shut down basically instantly. So you got to be careful. One thing about this mod that you should also know is a lot of infantry has multi-purpose missiles, so they can actually shoot ground and air targets. It's kind of cool seeing this here. We were actually seeing an exchange of small artillery coming from both sides. So if we take a quick tactical overview right now, you're seeing Com3 create a really nice line here, and he's still fighting for positions here on the forest. He's also damaging this Shawnee Cash's ion cannon, which is actually really bad. You definitely want to protect that, because once this thing is gone, and if they're able to take out, for example, your ship killer AA like the SPAT, you're going to have a lot of problems. Somebody could just basically call in, you know, a massive frigate or a destroyer and just kind of cause a lot of problems for you. There you go. Umbaran troopers are fighting the enemy here in the forest, causing problems. You also have ZFK, who has ATSTs, which can be pretty gnarly against infantry and some lighter armored vehicles as well in reserve. So you see them kind of pushing out here, taking control. Again, they don't really have to push. There's not much to push for. And Shawnee Cash being pushed back here. Retreating into the forest. And there you go. So the Venator is coming in here. In support, you have the Acclamator. And there in the distance, we're seeing another Acclamator as well. So a pretty strong push here by the enemy. Unfortunately, I don't think they really prepped for this. So this is Fenrir coming in with both. And Jiven coming in there with another Acclamator. Well, here you go, gents. So you got Hyena torpedo fighters coming for Com3. He has a bunch of them already engaging the Venator. You're going to see long-range strikes against the Acclamator and the Venator. And I think we're going to see that Acclamator go down fairly quickly. And you see the Acclamators trying to take shots at the torpedo ships, and there you go, more strikes, and there goes down the Acclamator. So this is why you got to be careful, even though, and there you go, the Venator goes down too. Very, very bad. Just look at that massive explosion right there. So like I was saying, they didn't really prep for it, just calling ships out and pushing forward like that. It's not a good idea. If you're going to do that, you need to get rid of their ion cannons as soon as you can. Now, they're not too hard to find, and once you find them, you can mark that location and destroy it with artillery. Try to take out any ship killer AA. like the spats, which you could actually use seed for. There are specific fighters that have very, very strong seed that could damage these fairly quickly, but you'll definitely have to call in quite a few of those to do that. So if you're just trying to engage around here, that's kind of what has to happen. And also on top of that, you need to call in fighters to support your ship. So kind of what you're seeing here, you have ZFK who's coming in with the Imperial II, and you're seeing a bunch of TIE fighters from Highlander and also TIE Fang coming in from ZFK to repel any enemy fighters. And also Com3 is also has some Umbaran starfighters out here too. So now you guys can basically see that they have, you know, some good air support to protect themselves, to protect this Imperial II, which will definitely come in handy later. And if I had to take a guess, I think that this Imperial II is going to definitely break the stalemate here in the middle, because I don't really feel like the enemy has enough to take this out of the sky quickly. So it's going to cause a lot of problems. And you can kind of see between both sides, the turbulators, lasers, they're not really, I mean, yes, you can put them there to protect your, you know, supply lines. And also if you have like a logistical, you know, hub like that, definitely can be handy, but you don't need so many of these. It's probably just, you know, points spent. I know they're not that expensive, but honestly, I hardly use them. I like to decentralize my logistics so that it's not just sitting somewhere. You do have the option to play with certain divisions where you have large moving logistics, you know, units that could also have attack capabilities. For example, like you have the Acclamator, which could be a logistics unit that actually stays low to the ground, which supplies your troops, but it also can have attack capabilities that are limited but still useful. So here we have the Umbaran Heavy Walker, which I do think look really, really cool. And these things are actually pretty capable. Pretty big fan of these. I think that's like 3,000 meters for the range here. Oh, here you go. You see the Munificent coming in. Like, I'm not sure how long Shawnee Cash has been playing, but it would be very easy to... The Munificent, kind of like the Acclamator, you push it in too far, it's going to get shot down basically immediately. And oh my goodness, look at this. You have the heavy crawlers here coming from Com3. These things are so cool. Oh yeah. As ridiculous as it looks, it's actually really damaging to infantry. But obviously, somebody has anti-tank capabilities. They're going to destroy that fairly quickly there. So there you go. You see the Imperial II already knocked out one of the Munificents, and it's about to do the same to the other one fairly quickly here. It's really not something you want to call in as a counter to the Imperial II. Just going to annihilate. There you go. You also see the AA as well helping out. And they just lost 2 Munificents very, very quickly. And that's actually a lot of points to lose. Not really worth it. Z95 got shot down by AA. They actually got the bomber, though. So yes, the Imperial II is going to be an absolute menace from now on. And one thing I would say, too, is I think some of their major anti-ship AA, they did not push far up enough to make it a problem for this Imperial II. A lot of players were basically kind of circle around like a shark, just kind of waiting for an opportunity, and if they sense that you don't have good AA for their ship, they will pretty much push it down into your zone and likely erase everything you have. So here we see a really good push by ZFK and Com3. Well, I guess right now it's actually ZFK is pushing up primarily. There you go, Gozanti dropping off something. Probably is it another AT-AT? Very possible. And there you go, you actually see the Providence coming in here, trying to damage and stop the advance from Com3 and ZFK, who've pushed up a bunch of infantry here, some AT walkers. So pretty strong push here. Now you're going to see the Imperial II take out Providence. I have a feeling that their opponents are likely not very well versed in this mod, which is okay. You know, I do want to remind everybody to be nice, and it's one of those things that we all have bad games, and also, you know, on top of that, some people are new to the mod, so you'll see some frustration for sure between players. Also, you know, teamwork comes into play, but overall, this community really welcomes everybody. You know, whether you're new or, you know, you're just a Star Wars fan, you've never played WARNO, there's always people who will, you know, help show you the ropes on how to play WARNO as well as how to play this mod. So ZFK, who is fairly new to this game, was being taught by New Piero, who is a pretty good player, and that's just kind of to show you he's been picking up fairly quick on how to play this mod and has improved a lot. And that's just to show you an example that you could be fairly new and catch on pretty quick. And you can have a lot of fun once you understand the fundamentals of the mod, how things work, and it's pretty much across board from there. Here's the V-Wing. Gonna get shut down fairly quickly here. Here you have Jiven coming in here with clone commandos, trying to pressure the enemy here. It's a fairly small unit here, but very capable, and it's a good recon unit. So you see Jiven here resupplying things, and of course there's the Imperial II ruining your day, destroying the Juggernaut. Juggernaut's going to explode. There you go. Yep. And as I've said before, the Juggernaut is a double-edged sword, because once that thing blows up, it can definitely damage your units from the blast radius here. You had ZFK come in with the Imperial II, and also the AT-AT helped, and they just wiped out that small incursion there. So you can see that they have a very, very strong hold on Dmitri. So right now, primarily, you're seeing ZFK as well as Highlander push together and take this zone, and they control it firmly. They have a +4. Here you go. You see some artillery from Com 3 coming in. So doing counter battery on the Hamel. And you have some Y-Wings coming in here from Fenrir. And one of them was already shot down. You're likely, yeah, look at all that AA. And there goes his buddy too. Both of them being shot down, didn't even have a chance. Not sure if they were bombers, but one thing too is when you man, look how cool these are. AT-HP coming in here. So this is Highlander coming in with the AT-HP. Pretty cool looking AA if you ask me. So they're pushing up some medium range AA here. Yeah, look how fast they are. The fire rate here is pretty good. So pretty much pushing this up so that they can help with fighters coming in. And here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's this big push coming from Fenrir, who calls in 3 Venators at 535 points. They do have proton torpedoes, so if you kept them at range, maybe they could have damaged the Imperial IIs. You have Highlander coming in here with his own Imperial II. So you see right now there's 3. One's being called back by ZFK because it was damaged pretty badly. The Venator is engaging Imperial II here. And just look how quickly the Venator went down. They do have one there too, so it's one on one. Now it's 2 on 1. Just like that, the Venators go down. Here you go, jiving, shooting at the Imperial IIs. These can definitely damage. They're actually made for Imperial IIs, but it looks like it was damaged and taken out fairly quickly here. So that's really bad for them. Here you go, they have one last one left. And look at that starfighter there from Com 3. See another shot there. These don't seem to be doing a lot of damage to the Imperial IIs though. So there's only 5 minutes left in the match. Redfor does have a +4, so they're doing really well. Like I was saying, whoever controls the middle area on this specific map was huge. Honestly, a lot of the fighting that was going on here was kind of useless. I understand protecting Boris. You didn't have to span out so wide. And protecting the middle, there's only one guy who basically got, 3v1'd. Here you go, you see a Gozanti push here. But those towers are going to eat those things apart. I can attest to how strong these things are. They're really annoying. These Gozantis are all going to get shot down. There's no way they're surviving this. They can take a lot of punishment though. So this Gozanti's going to go down, but he's pushing Com 3 here, pushing up the droids. But you have the ATTFA, which is very, very strong. So you got to watch out for this thing. That thing will take down almost anything. So if we look at the tactical overview here, you see that the middle area is controlled very firmly by Redfor, ZFK, and Highlander. And Com 3 has held his right flank very, very well. And they pretty much protected their left flank as well. But honestly, that Imperial II play and just how many ships the enemy lost here was kind of the final thing that kind of put the nail in the coffin. This is actually one of my favorite things about WARNO replay system, is that you're able to just pause really cool moments and film in slow motion or speed it up, whatever you want to do. Take different angles. If you guys get anything out of this, subscribing, commenting, and liking helps our channel tremendously, and we do appreciate it. We also just want to thank you guys for coming out and spending your personal time watching the channel. It means the world to us. And if you guys want to support us, we work with a veteran clothing brand called Archangel, which will be in the link in the description below. If you want to check out some of their gear, you can do so there. I will also include a link for Bio for his official Discord channel for this mod. If you guys want to get involved with the community is awesome, and I highly recommend you check it out. Well, I hope you guys have a good weekend and take care.